Welcome to Save the Pumpkins podcast. This is Amy.
This is Shane.
Hey, today we're here to talk about a movie that we recently watched, Harvest Love, starring Jen Lilley as Luna and Ryan Paevey as Will, the two main characters. Um, just to give you an idea of what this is about, it's Luna, played by Jean Lilly, is a surgeon and who's very busy
Yep.
and has a young son. She's lost her husband
Yeah, widowed. Yeah.
and notices that her life has become just work, 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 and her son is kind of being put on the back burner. So she decides to take a vacation and visit a farm that's been in her family.
That's what
And
they all do, right?
yep, come to find out that the parents who are vacationing somewhere have decided that this will be it basically for her to vacation there because they're selling the farm. And she meets up with the handler or who's overseeing the
Yep.
farm while the parents are away. And one thing leads to another, and there's some sort of pear festival, of course, involved, or
Yeah,
apples.
it's pairs. I think their family is pairs. I think so the guy, the Ryan was his name Ryan Pavey
Pavey,
Pavey. Yep. Who's in quite a few movies.
and a
He's well.
nice
Yep.
Christmas movie that we'll
Yep.
talk
He
about.
is. He's in quite a few, but his family owned land in that area as well, but they don't have they lost it or they passed away. So he's familiar with the area.
Well, and he's looking to purchase land
He is.
because
He is.
he's
That'll come into play at the end. Yeah.
secretly making something, a hybrid of apples and pears
He is. Yeah.
because I believe he has an agricultural degree of some
Yes, he
sort.
does.
Yes. So, of course, then that makes the show very believable, right? Having that degree.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the we say it with every one of these films, and I'll say it again. It's the chemistry between the leads that makes it worth watching because the stories themselves are pretty boilerplate. I mean, save the pumpkins. That's what we talk about, right? This is saving the pears. You can call the fruit or the vegetable whatever you want to call it. It's going to be the crux of what's going on. And I don't really know about
Yeah,
this
no.
couple. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I go
This is
for.
not one of my favorites because she just came across very robotic. Like there was nothing. Now him that we've seen
Yeah,
before in other shows, I very much enjoyed his character, and so uh, there was nothing against him from my perspective. It was more that she wasn't working it for me, you
uh,
know?
yeah. They the Hallmark formula. They get two attractive leads, and then I don't think it hurts anybody's feelings. This guy, he's a good looking guy. He's one of those guys that ladies seem to be
Well, I wasn't feeling
fond of.
the scenery wasn't,
It's okay.
And then the one instance that I'll mention is that her being a surgeon or a doctor, and that a
Oh,
young boy falls,
it's
and
so dumb.
and
Oh,
she says to the mom of the boy, "Here, I'm a doctor. Let me look at that." And clearly, what we're looking at on the screen is a scratch.
it's
It's not
so
even it's not
bad.
even an open wound. It's not, and she just says, "Oh, he's gonna be fine."
It's the kind of thing where you wonder why did you just not leave this out? Like
Right.
you could have just said she was a doctor. They had to make you think she was a doctor and give some kind of weight to that. But the whole scene is legitimately awful. Like it's just and it feels like she doesn't know what she's talking about,
Right. And
and
then
it
the
it just
whole
kills the
there
whole
that
thing.
he's making his hybrid in the greenhouse and her not being able to understand how to get in the greenhouse and see what's going on, and
It
they kind of made that like
yeah.
kind of like the the what the conflict a little bit,
Well,
like
you're
what's
wondering
going
what
on.
secret is he keeping?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I that was
exactly.
very unbelievable.
It
So,
it makes you in both of those moments the falling the guy falling down or whatever and in the not being able to get inside the little greenhouse you go well it's a Hallmark movie you don't go you don't at that point you go okay well this is the cheesy silly this is what people make fun of when they mention Hallmark movies, right? This is you took me out of this being a real thing that I believe in anyway.
Well, it's and it also just makes you keep watching it because you're just like, okay, well, what else is gonna happen? That's gonna be like, really,
Yeah.
So it's just one of those. So, like we said, the chemistry would just wasn't cutting it, and
Were there any?
the house, we saw more of the front of the house, but it just seemed very propish to me.
Oh,
Um, and oh, and we can't forget the looking out over the rows and rows of the pear apple trees
yeah.
that went
There
on
was
forever. That
obviously a matte painting or a green screen that was in the background. That was the worst looking thing I've ever seen. Like it was one of those where it was like I don't. I mean, did you not have the budget to just take a shot of a? It was like the other movie we watched the other night where they didn't have the budget to take a picture of the stars, right?
right.
You go, well, I know you guys don't want to spend a lot of money on these movies, but come on, that was like just take a picture of a pear. Do you know anybody that's got a pear farm? Take a picture of it. This was a pear farm. It honestly felt like they switched the fruit up and thought that was going to be the thing you leaned into. Oh, it's pears this time. Let's watch it. And I don't mean to be too negative about it. I'm trying to look and see if there's anybody, jog my memory, anybody that was like
Well,
particularly good. That was a
so
second. We usually
needless,
talk about secondary actors, right, that
yeah.
are pretty good.
Yeah, it was
And I
just
don't like
mostly
no,
the
the mom, the
child,
dad were not anything I
her child. But
remember.
I mean, needless to say, she enjoys her time there. She encourages her family to not sell the farm because they win the overall best pair at the
Yeah.
festival because of his hybrid. And I believe then he becomes an owner of the
He buys a
farm.
piece of the land
Yeah.
that's right there next to it. He doesn't buy their farm. He buys a piece of the land, and then they're going to be like neighbors, or they'll be.
And
I don't
she's
know.
decided
It's
that
really
she's going
terrible.
to stick around and be a doctor there
Yeah, of
in
course
the
she's going to be
town.
the doctor in the small town. At one point, she goes into town, and she makes that obvious comment. Where are they? They're in like a store of some sort, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I guess it is a small town. They don't really have much going on in the way of doctors." And you're like, "Well, I wonder where that will go." So,
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's
So I don't really like to talk bad about
eh,
Hallmark shows. I really don't. But sometimes though, there's that one that is just a little bit too, unrealistic and just not
it's the most generic, the most boilerplate. I don't actually think either one of the leads are bad. It's just I don't know. This didn't feel like it was made with any passion.
right.
When I say passion, I don't mean passion like love passion. I mean it doesn't feel like it was made with anyone that cared to make anything entertaining, regardless of whether that entertainment is cheesy entertainment or actual good movie entertainment. Which several of these movies are actual good movies.
Hmm.
They're good. This is just one of those where you go, oh, this is what they mean when they say it's a Hallmark movie.
Right.
That they mean that in a derogatory way, and this is sort of what they're talking about. It's just completely forgettable. It's probably the worst thing we could say about it.
Yeah. So there's really not much to continue on, to
Yeah, I
be
don't think
honest. I'd
so.
rather
I was really just
go
trying to
on
see
and
if there
talk
was like
about something that we really
an aunt or a cousin
found.
or something, but there's just nothing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, so I mean,
yeah.
take it as you will off of this podcast, whether you want to decide to watch it or not.
No,
But
I don't recommend it.
yeah,
Skip it.
neither do I. Okay. Well, let's move on to one that we do like. So catch us in our next podcast.
Yep. Thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye.